Hi, my name is Gerald. My friends, all two of them, call me G. And I'm here to give a very detailed analysis of what G4 calls the solution. This is part of the amazing trend that this industry is going through, and that is off grid security. We do it differently, and I've spent, God, over the last year, I sometimes 8, 10 hours a day on the phones with customers who have questions. So I finally decided to stop putting it off and make a video so that you can watch it at your leisure and you'll understand everything that we're doing. And I hope to help the beginners. I hope to help everybody. So I want you to forgive me in advance because some of this, our experienced customers, they're already going to know. But there's also a lot of new entries into this market, and we love new members of our community, and I want to help them as well. Gen 4 Technology, as most of you know, we've been around for 25 years. We've serviced over 40,000 industry specialists, integrators, installation companies. Couple first, we were the first to mass distribute Hikvision, now the largest manufacturer in the globe, on the globe. We don't sell their product anymore, as you all know, the government problems. We were also first to mass distribute Dawa. We were first to mass distribute one of four. There were four at the same time to mass distribute Uniview. So we've got an extensive history. Myself, I've been to China. We counted the immigration stamps. I've been to China 62, or Asia, 62 times in the last 20 odd years. So I feel like my experience can help. I'm 63 years old. Um, been around for a while. So hopefully this information would be very beneficial. And then we're gonna do an overview, and then we're gonna do a lot of short videos for those with short attention spans. We'll go over each product individually and tell you how we got to where we are today. I want to talk about this solar solution and how we got to today. We didn't just overnight get this accomplished. This really truly has been years, often frustrating periods of time trying to make this perfect. I think we're close to perfection right now. And I want to point out the reasons why this works. Let's, for the new people in this industry, for the up and comers, there are three off grid surveillance categories. Number one, there's the digital motion detect type cameras. You'll see them all over Amazon. They rely on a PIR sensor. That's an acronym for passive infrared. They're, to me, they're useless. I mean, they're so cheap that, it's okay to buy them. If that's all you can afford. They're $20, $30 in some cases. The problem is the camera is asleep because it has a very tiny battery, a very tiny solar panel. And you're lucky. I mean, if you were to record always using something like that, you'd be lucky to get 20, 30 minutes out of them. They typically record 10, 20-second intervals after the camera wakes up from the PIR sensor. And by the way, 10 to 20 seconds of wake up time, the car has already driven. Even a car driving 10 miles an hour, it's already driven by. You won't even get the color of the car as evidence. If it's a porch pirate, likely they've already snatched your package and they're gone. So anything requiring battery, that's typically how that industry works. I'm not going to say don't buy it. I mean, something is better than nothing, and they do have decent image quality. It's just be aware that they're probably selling it to you, especially at that price. We know several companies in China that do it. By the way, I should mention that. So we have a staff at an office warehouse in Shenzhen, China, that we've been financing for, God, I don't know, it seems 10 years or more. So we do a really good job. We're both a manufacturer and a distributor, first of all. We have products manufactured. I know it's China. There's a little bit of Trump consternation with China, but look, we're also trying Vietnam. It's very difficult to manufacture in America right now. It's a 2 to 3, 5 year process. I don't know what it would take, $20, $30 million. So to stay competitive, I don't think manufacturing is leaving Asia anytime soon. So we do it differently. We actually have boots on the ground. And again, we try to travel quarterly to Asia, Japan, Vietnam, China. And so I want to talk about the second level. So we talked about the first level of what's considered off-grid video surveillance or off-grid CCTV. And that is the little PIR cameras. I got an example right here. I like this gentleman. I know him. He's a China friend of mine. He's in this industry. That's a PIR sensor. So this camera is not active unless there's motion. This passive infrared sensor picks up motion. It's kind of a heat stamp, if you will. About 8 seconds. I've timed this one several times. It's about 8 seconds it wakes up. So I can merely walk by this camera and it misses me. It misses me. But if I'm slow, if I'm standing in front of the camera, and it's decent quality. But their entire game, their entire strategy is very similar to Amazon. Let's face it. They want you to buy cloud storage, recurring revenue services. That's the only reason these cameras are sold that low of cost. And they get millions and millions and millions of people. And let's face it, it works for them, at least some of them. I don't do these. I'm not going to sell these ever. Especially given, let's say you got 20 seconds of free record time. You're not subscribing to a minute or two of video cloud storage. But you're keeping your fingers crossed. The crime committed took less than 20 seconds. I just can't buy into that. So there is another level, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it's the majors, the Hikvisions, the Dahwas, etc. They call it AOV, Alpha Oscar Victor, or always on video. Don't be misled, okay? They're not always on. They're not. But they are more affordable, and they are definitely a step up from the motion detect only cameras. A typical AOV camera solution from the majors in Asia, they record at about 1 frame a second. They have a built-in little modem. It's not the best modem in the world typically, but they are functional to a degree. In fact, we're going to be launching a model. We've been testing it all fall and all winter, but we're only going to sell it to warm weather states. I do want to bring this up. I'm going to be repetitive about this point because it's absolutely reckless and dangerous. Those solutions typically include a 40, 60, I've seen 80-watt solar panels. Even 80, that's really not enough to keep a camera on 24 hours a day with a modem. So those cameras also go to sleep typically when they're below 50% battery storage. The software, turns it off. You have to wake the camera up or wait for the sun to come out. But the biggest problem with those cameras, the biggest problem with that solution is if you are in a cold weather state like we are, we're near Cincinnati, Ohio, not uncommon during January to get below 0 at night. Not uncommon during the day for a high to be a mere 8, 10 degrees. So we're below freezing parts of December, typically most of January and February. Now we're in a little bit of a freak weather pattern right now. I think tomorrow's going to be 69. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's going to be 69. And then Sunday, our low is going to be 10 degrees and we're back to winter. We experience all 4 seasons in 1 week in this town. It's crazy weather. Big problem, big alarm, and I really want to make this point. Lithium does not charge at 32 degrees or below. I'm talking lithium ion. I'm talking lithium phosphate, or more commonly known as LiFePO4. Tertiary, sometimes referred to as ternary. You can't charge lithium when the temperature of your battery is at 32 degrees or less. Terrible things happen when that occurs, okay? Terrible things. First of all, it's called lithium plating. That creates shorts within the battery cells in the battery, whether it's a small battery or a large battery. When you have a direct short and you have runaway current, you melt the conductor. These companies, they're not fusing those circuits. They don't have an MPPT solar controller typically to monitor that, and they're certainly not providing heat. It's like the entirety of China, they think every single person lives in California, where the weather is obviously mild, or Florida. Don't. You'll destroy your business, you'll destroy your reputation, and as you look at those Chinese specifications, they only mention discharge temperature, okay? -4 degrees, okay, that's pretty much true. That's a standard across the board with lithium. They will provide your necessary 5 or 12 volts down to a temperature of -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, they will. However, you're draining the battery. You can't charge the battery, and you're still stuck. If you let your battery get below 32 degrees, you have permanently damaged that battery. You can look it up. And by the way, I'm going to throw a name out there. This is a YouTuber. He's a solar expert. He's a very bright young man, wise beyond his years. I don't know what his YouTube channel is, but you can search by Will Prowse, Prowse. This young man has 1,080,000 current subscribers. He deserves it. Years ago and last year, I mean, I'm not watching his channel as closely now as I used to, but he is a wealth of information. And I think what I love about that gentleman the most, he's honest. I mean, these companies that send him product to be evaluated, gosh, if they're not as advertised, and as Will tell you, 9 out of 10 products he samples, they're not as advertised. He rips big batteries apart, he cuts them open, and he'll explain to you why putting this in your home or on your property is dangerous. Don't do it. You know, the Chinese electronics market, and let's face it, Amazon is the Wild West of electronics. Amazon Electronics Marketplace is a casino. Not all, they've got some great products. They've got some very honest sellers. I'm not going to lump everybody into it, but the majority, be very careful. A specification sheet means nothing to these sellers. It means nothing. So you have to be careful. And I'm going to try to walk you through how to avoid a lot of the things that we went through. We've tested dozens and dozens and dozens of solar controllers. God knows how many different brands, sizes of batteries, how many modems, how many wireless bridges. It's just, and you don't know right away. Sometimes you don't know right away. That's the worst part. You know, you're testing a product in July, and you find out in January when the weather is 32 degrees or less that you've got a disaster on your hands. So we've been doing this for years and years, and I'm really hoping to help your company avoid those catastrophic mistakes. We've made our share. Maybe by me presenting on YouTube, I can save you a lot of grief. Okay, so the third category of off-grid solar CCTV surveillance solution, you've all seen them likely, are the mobile CCTV trailers. You see them typically at Lowe's. Our largest grocer, might be the largest grocer in the country, in fact, is Kroger. And they tend to have them. I've not seen as many at Kroger as I once did, but you do see them. That is why we came up with this idea in the first place. And look, I'm not going to criticize trailers. I'm not going to slam them too hard because we're going to show you our trailer over the next 4 to 6 weeks. We like our solution. Sometimes a trailer is ideal. Problem with trailers and why this solution is going to grow your company tremendously is cost. A CCTV mobile trailer, get this, for those of you who don't, some of you already know this, but for those of you who don't know, those majors, those big box retailers, grocers, a few others, sometimes you see them at a gas station, they're paying on a monthly lease $3 to $5 grand per unit. And they get between, they get between 2 and 4 cameras. They're on a tall mast typically. It's only in one location in the parking lot. There's several drawbacks to a mobile CCTV trailer. And we'll get to that when I explain our solution and how we are beneficial. But to me, the CCTV trailer market created the lowest hanging fruit. And I've been in business my whole life. I've always been an entrepreneur. They presented a low hanging fruit opportunity that I find unprecedented. When you're competing against a $3,000 to $5,000 a month lease, or if they're going to buy the trailer outright, which some companies do, the cheapest I've seen a trailer is 30 grand. They go upwards of 60 grand, and I'll never know where that math comes from, how they came up with that price. Now, obviously, the trailer, you're going to have more power. You've got more real estate for more batteries, and typically, how does a mobile CCTV trailer beat you in a sales call when you're given this solution versus theirs or any other solution. What those well-trained salesmen do is they remind the company that they're trying to sell these leases to that they survived the winter. And they scare the daylights out of that potential buyer by explaining to them lithium plating and the 32-degree fire hazard, when it's below 32 degrees. The way, not all of them, I don't think all of them do, but I haven't seen an exception to this yet, not personally. The way the trailer makers, CCTV trailer makers or integrators get around the 32-degree problem is they use fossil fuel backup generators. So when they're monitoring temperature, and they do, when it's close to 32 degrees, guess what? They automatically switch over to fossil fuel generators. Somebody's got to fill those tanks. They got to back and forth. There's a lot of service involved there. Our customers lease this entire solution per pole, 2 or 3 cameras for between $5.99 and $11.99 a month. So they're 1/4, 1/6, at times the price. You do 2, 3, 4 poles, and you've got the east, west, north, south of that parking lot covered. So you indeed offer greater value. The trailer companies, most of them, they don't know that we've solved this 32-degree problem. And I'm going to show you exactly how we did it. It took forever. It's not easy. The fourth solution of CCTV off-grid, because you're going to start seeing these. I'm already seeing a few companies doing it. Maybe not impressed with how they're doing it, but it's going to evolve, and it's going to settle on, the winner's going to be whoever did it the best and, the most economically, is a pole mount solution. Okay, so I'm going to give you a firsthand, hopefully a very clear view of this box. This metal fabrication factory or plant is literally 5 minutes from Gen 4's Shenzhen, China office warehouse location. This gentleman, I think he's a genius. And over a period of 2 years, this is where we have evolved to. When we first started doing this, just like you, we were buying boxes online. We probably tried a couple from Amazon, which were disastrous. We were settling for hose clamp mounting, which is insane because just not the way to go. It's unprofessional. It's not exactly structurally sound. In some cases, these batteries weigh a decent amount, 20, 30 pounds sometimes. And this box, our box, this is 100% stainless steel, okay? We chose stainless steel for a reason. This box will outlive all of us, anybody here. Let's face it, it's stainless steel. It probably lasts 1,000 years. And there's so many other features I need to go over. I'll try to be quick. If you notice, not everybody's going to use this for CCTV. We sell this box to anybody and everybody. There's lots of network companies that are buying this. There are a lot of just general electrical purposes of this box, of course, CCTV. So some of the network companies, they insisted on 2 or 3 shelves. So by default, everybody gets 2 shelves. If you need more, for a couple more dollars, we'll throw in as many as you need. We have extras. What you're seeing here is our clever, we call it the Hang Pro mounting system. You get these as well. You get all necessary hardware to mount this. And I'm going to open these and show you what's included. What you might be wondering is, what's inside? What is this? This is a material that was commercialized due to a NASA necessity. This is known as Aerogel. I'm sure you can use AI at this point. Google what's the history, what happened with Aerogel, how did it get to this point? But the key point about Aerogel is this manufacturer, they boast 20 times more efficient than your standard insulation that you see in homes. What that means is to accomplish 20 inches of normal insulation accomplishes what 1 inch of Aerogel does. Other benefits of Aerogel that I just love, it's antifungal, which those of you who have been doing electrical boxes for a number of years, when you're in humid states, even Ohio is humid in the summer, you get mold, you get mold. You get fungus. In some cases, you open a box that hasn't been opened in a while, you actually see mushrooms. Truly, you'll see mushrooms. So Aerogel is antifungal. It doesn't allow that. It's also hydrophobic, which is very important in human environments. This will not allow any moisture to build and soak it up like a sponge. So you have a battery, a 100 amp hour battery in here. You have a controller, you have network equipment. The last thing you want, obviously, with electricity is to mix it with water. There's a drain plug right here where the cables come out. So when water does beat off of Aerogel, in case you had some problem with somebody left the door open or whatever, the water should drain naturally. And Aerogel, we include Aerogel in every box, okay? Uh, this company that I buy from, they made me buy 100 meters worth. That's longer than a football field. But that was their, these are very popular in the oil industry, the Arctic Circle, those types of places. But more impressively, the Mars rover used this exact product. And the International Space Station uses this product. All kinds of satellites that are in orbit use this product. I mean, it's just amazing. You know, why did we use it? Well, we tried every other kind of insulation. You know, we don't want our battery to ever get to freezing. We're paranoid about it. And we avoid it like the plague. But more importantly, why we chose Aerogel, we'll get to the heating part of the battery solution that we solved, but we needed to reduce wattage. This helps us reduce wattage and gives your battery more life, less dependency on solar. In other words, it gives you exponentially more reliability because you're not wasting wattage heating your battery. Your wattage is primarily dedicated to powering your cameras, which is, you know, let's face it, that's the purpose of this product. And if you'll look at the, I didn't allow those pre-stamped O-ring type seals. The factory puts this big thick bead of insulation for the door manually, and that should last forever. I think that'll last forever. And then if you'll notice too, this particular box, I've included two 12-volt DC operated cooling fans. If you're in Ohio, you'll probably never need them, but we use them just in case. And if you'll notice, the factory does this for us. Every box comes with this particular box. We have another box with only a single fan, but this particular box comes with two cooling fans. And I insisted on, in our industry, the standard 12-volt DC connection for cameras, for bridges, for just about everything involved in CCTV is a 5.5 by 2.1 millimeter DC barrel plug. So I went with that size just to stay consistent and make it easier for everybody. And they're long enough to where you can, you know, you don't have to worry about it. And if you want to route them out of the way, just grab a tie wrap. You get the point. So I hope the look, I might as well shut this door. I went with not your typical just rectangle boring shape. We evolved into this shape too. To me, this offers so much value. It's aesthetic. Customers like the way it looks. So if you are a business owner, an integrator, I beg of you, get a big decal made for your brand. Now, we put our brand on all of the ones that we sell locally. Build your business, your contact information, add a big QR code for, you know, customers to scan, because you'll be surprised. People are having problems. Theft is an epidemic. Let's face it, we all know that. And as copper continues to soar in prices, copper's at a record high right now, by the way. Put your brand here. If you need help branding, contact us. We'll do your artwork for you. And we'll send you to the right online printer who will get your decals out to you. But that's a great way to grow your presence in your region. Because when they see what you've accomplished and how professional this solution is, trust me, we experience it every day. We have a customer in Jersey that just did a major university student parking lots. Initially, he didn't put his decal on. He's got it on now. The police department's calling, municipalities call him, business owners call him. It's revolution. In fact, he told me personally, Gerald, I'm not doing traditional CCTV anymore. I'm booked forever with this. And he charges a very hefty monthly fee. So he's a very happy guy. I want to try to get to the back of this. This is our Hang Pro system. I hope the Chinese don't copy this tomorrow, but was a little fearful of showing everybody this. This is what the rear of your box ships as. You get this. You get everything necessary. This is called Hang Pro. We're gonna show you a short video of what we mean by this. We learned initially when we started and everybody was doing this type of work, you required at least 2 people, sometimes 3, because somebody's got to hold this 20, 30-pound box. They're going to hold it while the other person, they're using the hose clamps. They've got some other type of clamping. Not us. You mount a clamp, the opposite clamp of this on the pole, and all you do is slide this in, and it's holding it for you. That is holding it for you. And out front, I'll show you out front where our main solution is for customers to come and see this. Most of our customers are small business, mom and pops, husband and wife teams, maybe 2 guys, maybe 10, maybe a staff of 10. They don't have the resources to send 2 or 3 people out to the field to install something when they don't have to. Why do it if you don't have to? We made this a one-person job, and we don't know of any company that we compete with in the electrical box market. We don't know of us. Maybe they're out there. You can contact us if I'm wrong. To date, nobody has contacted me, and I can't find any evidence that anybody has thought about this. In fact, a box this size will cost you, for the depth, it'll cost you around $1,200. We're less than half that, and we include everything. And at that $1,200 price point, they don't include bracketing. So you're out another $200 or $300. I want to mention price right now. We are ordering these by the container now. Sales are brisk. We are selling this, at least temporarily, to get everybody involved, because we're primarily a CCTV camera distributor. This box is under $500 with the Aerogel, with the bracketing, with the fans, with everything. And the external dimensions of this box are 23 inches by 14 by 8 inches deep. And when you are when you are shopping and pricing, because I expect all of you to, you've got a business to run. I get that. I don't take offense to it. For whatever reason in that industry, the depth of the box is the big price swing. It's a big price swing. Just adding an inch, could add a couple $100 in itself. The length and width of the box doesn't add as much. It does add cost to it, of course, but we're 8 inches deep. After you factor in the Aerogel that we've installed for you, you're looking at about 7 inches of depth inside of usable space. All right, so I'm going to open the included bear claw bracketing that we give with every customer. We don't want you hassled with going to Ace Hardware, Home Depot, spending another $200 or $300. So I'm going to open these. Also stainless steel, very heavy duty. Now, this will accommodate up to about a 7-inch pole, whether it's a round pole, rectangle pole, square pole. Bear in mind, we have these up to 14 inches. So if you have a special pole need, just tell us. So we told you about Hang Pro, and you're going to have to use your imagination here just for a second. We're going to show you on an actual pole out front what we mean by this, but I think most of you will get this. So imagine this is on a pole. There's a screw, and we're going to show you that system. This is on a pole. You're going to have this. You're going to carry it out. There you go. You can let go of this box. This will hold your box while you integrate your PoE switches, your modems, your wireless bridges. Okay, so we mentioned that with every electrical network box that we deliver, we include the entire solution. And I want to show you how easy this is to mount. I think you'll love us for it. Take your hardware. And I'm going to use just one washer because let's get, for the purpose of expediting this video and not boring you too much. So I'll put one washer in because all of you already know you got to use a washer, okay? And here's the threaded rods. Get them nice and secure. Obviously, this is, by the way, our nuts and these couplers. 17 millimeters is the size. We like these. This is this is a ratchet type wrench. I don't know what you actually call it, because on the other side of the pole, you're going to want that. You don't want to use a mucky wrench or a normal wrench. So grab another threaded rod. And some people will complain the rods are too long. See, we don't know how long your pole's going to be. If so, just grab a quick little, what do you call that tool, a Dremel, and just grind it off. Put a little rubber on the end for safety purposes. You're still integrating to your specifications. That's actually pretty centered. You know, try to keep it centered. Tighten everything up. This is, pretend my arm is a pole. And you would secure, tighten, excuse me. Secure that to the pole. You know, you want it nice and tight against that pole, obviously. And you get a second set. So now you've got three. When you see the outside view of this, literally outside this building I'm going to show you, you've got three sets of heavy-duty stainless steel claw brackets, supporting a mere 30 pounds, 40 pounds with the stuff inside, maybe 50 pounds including the battery. But anyway, you get the point. This versus hose clamps, there's no comparison. And besides you knowing that, and besides your business having peace of mind of how safe you did this, believe me, your customers notice, because they've seen what the competition does. They see your robust, properly structurally engineered solution, and they think much more highly of you. You get all of this. So thank you for watching that extremely long video. If it was informative and you want more information, please don't forget to click on subscribe and like, and visit g4direct.com for all of our exciting and upcoming solar CCTV related products. I'll be putting out several dozens and dozens of 2 to 5 minute short videos on every single component, from MPPT controllers to solar panels to LiFePO batteries. You get the point. Thanks for watching.